Yo, what's going on?
What's going on, man?
Not much. What about you?
Oh, fucking living the dream.
Everything's ringing.
I'm getting that numb hands thing all the time now.
All that GH you got.
Oh, well, I've run out. I'm waiting for it to come back in.
There's some
I
first
my
world
last
problems.
pin, yeah, my last pin was yesterday. I'm waiting for all my kids to come. It's been a bit hard.
Have you have you sent the link to Sam?
Yeah, sure have. Oh,
He's up in
but
is he
what?
based in Queensland? He's in Queensland, yeah.
Yeah, Queensland. Yeah, he's the same time as you.
Oh yeah, because we don't have like the our daylight savings. So stupid.
Yeah, daylight savings is good here because like when you're leaving the gym at night, the sun's still up. You're like, oh, I haven't lost that much of my night. But
No,
then like when it's daylight savings is off, you go home, you're like, man, it's dark already. Where's the
see,
time
I'm
gone?
I'm like the opposite. I like it when I get to the gym. It's like kind of like dark and like it gets me in like the mood of like, all right, I'm ready to rumble kind of thing.
Oh,
If
I
it's
like
like
it like
dark,
summer and it's like 40 degrees and you're rocking up and your veins are already popping because you're so hot already.
yeah, I can't think of anything worse. I hate training when it's like real. Like I prefer training in when it's like hot rather than cold. But like the gyms that I train at, they're just like a big warehouse. Like they're not like AC or anything. It's just got like the big industrial fans.
Oh,
It's good. It's good. But
see, ours are aircon.
yeah, see, no,
It's aircon, so it's like
I can't do
perfect.
that. You the family's starting to wake up.
Oh, how's your week been?
Sick as a dog. Whole family has
Oh,
been.
right. That's not good.
Yeah, no, so slowly on the mend, but um, try to thought training would help, but kind of just made it a bit worse earlier in the week, and then it kind of slowly got better, and then kind of just like stayed the same, and then hasn't been up until maybe like last night. It's kind of like slowly getting a bit better, like just because, and she's in daycare. She gets sick, and then the wife gets sick, then I get sick, and then everybody's good for a week, and then just repeat.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
what you gotta start like antibacterial wipe and everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Seriously.
Get that the Dettol liquid stuff.
Yeah, all the wipes. I'm
Yeah,
I'm I'm super lazy with it, but hello. I'm super lazy with it, but and the wife's pretty good with making everything pretty clean, aren't you? What? What? She's, I think she's gonna bar.
hello.
Yeah.
I
You wave?
That's right. Get your meal in.
Yeah, yeah. She's learning.
Get your
She's
meal in.
learning. She's learning quick.
Mm.
Okay, Mom. Um, how's your training going?
Yeah, good. Strength gain's still going up. Um, I'm finding now my dumbbell pressing is getting limited by my grip strength and the fatigue in
Oh,
my forearms because
I hate
I'm
that.
rolling back and I'm just like I'm struggling to sit back with them.
So
Like my hand just goes loose.
are the dumbbells like the polyurethane ones that are like as they get heavier, the handle gets thicker?
No, they're the same. I think it might just be a combination of the
Uh,
GH numb hand and just
yeah,
my forearm fatigue because I always get overworked forearms just from operating machines. That's
yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's getting
fair.
to me.
There's nothing worse than like a real thick bar like on like a dumbbell. Like
Yeah,
you can't pick them up. Like and if you like we're not using light ones. Like if you use them for like a dumbbell row or any type of press, overhead press, like the fucking it's like you're wearing like a fat
back
grip.
grip.
Yeah, you know those blue ones.
Have you been to Doherty's gym in Melbourne?
I've been to the city one, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's none of the not the tunnel one, the actual proper one.
No,
That's
no, I've only been to
it's got
tunnel.
the it's got the dumbbells that have those fatter grips, and like I could back last time I went there, I was only pressing like 60s for like
Mm,
12,
mm.
and I went there, I couldn't even like hold them. I was like,
Mhm.
because I couldn't roll. I just couldn't. I'm like, what the hell? It's so weird. And I got short fingers. I was like, this is
Yeah,
impossible.
you have to strap
And then I
up.
had to use the other ones. He's got another rack, but they're like the ones that pyramid down.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Smaller weight. So like I put them on my legs, and I'm like, ah, it's just digging into my quads. and it just hurts too much, so you have to get them
Yeah,
handed to you.
yeah, 100%. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Hey, what's going on?
Hey,
How we
Oh,
doing?
good man. How are you?
going on?
Yeah, not too bad. Oh, actually, do you need me on the other way?
No, it should be all right. Up to you. Whatever's
You
easy.
see? No, that's sweet.
How you been? What are you up to?
Oh, not a lot. I Sundays try and keep as busy as possible. So
Yeah,
morning walk, train, shopping, and I was just doing a bit of meal prep just then. So and then
nice.
after this call, I'm going to go watch what was that new Mission Impossible at the cinema? That'll keep me
Oh
busy
yeah,
for
I
a
saw
few
it last
hours
night.
too.
good.
You
I
saw
saw
it
it last
last
night
night?
too. Yeah,
Good.
yeah, it's good.
All
I haven't
right.
been in
Yeah,
movies
looking
in a
forward to
long
it.
time.
Yeah, Mrs. Hayden, example, like one of those thick cookies. I'm like, well, maybe I get a bag of peanut M&Ms. But she's dieting, so she's like, fuck you.
She's still dieting. Shit.
Yeah, she wants to try find that extra level leanness.
It fucking hurts.
Has she
Yeah.
started to
Fucking
get up?
hurts.
So what about you? How many weeks out of you now, Sam?
7 yesterday. So leaving 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So
it's not long.
yeah.
Do you hold water on flights?
Well, we don't know.
Mm,
I'm not a very well traveled person. I've only ever been to Bali and Japan, and they weren't dieting or anything. That was just living a normal life. So we're about to find out whether I'm someone who
mm.
retains water or loses weight or whatever. We'll figure out on the
Well,
time. But even if the worst case scenario happens and you turn into an absolute water buffalo, you've still got 6 days to clear it, and that's
yeah,
what my diuretics are for. So it's literally it's a non-issue. It just I think people overthink it, and it just gives them something else to stress about when it only takes you 24 hours to clear water. So if the worst
yeah,
case scenario happens, you're not going to be full of it 6 days later and that unless you make it because you flip your shit.
yeah. Because my missus, like, I'm a deem. I've always had a deemer as a kid. Like, I get cankles in the off season, and she's never had water. When we landed in
Yeah,
Canada, balloons. Her ankles were balloons. And
yeah,
she's like, oh
well, there
God,
you go.
this never happened to me. What happened? I was freaking out. Relax. We just gave her, made sure we had cardio as soon as we hit the ground. And then I just gave her like quarter diazide for a couple of days.
That's it. We're just gonna. I'll just drink a heap of water on the plane, walk on the plane, go into the toilet a million times, and as soon as I land, same thing. Just shitloads of water and a little bit of light exercise, and I think we'll be fine. Like you say something pulls her in the ankles a bit. Yeah, it's over that 6 days. It won't be an issue by the time the comp gets there.
Are you as someone in the off season that does hold a lot of water, Sam? Or are you pretty like?
Um, No, not particularly. I'm a pretty dry character. Even through prep, I wake up in the mornings like very, very dehydrated and dry every
Yeah,
morning.
right.
So no, I don't seem to. I don't seem to retain a lot. No.
Because I'm someone that does hold a lot of water, and I find that even like a short flight up to Queensland for the show. So I'm in Sydney. I still held a little bit of water just from that.
Yeah,
So
really.
that's like a good indicator, I guess. If in the off season, if you are or you're not, then you should be kind of the same in prep too. So hopefully you'll be right.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. It's like anything. It's just an enhanced version, but like you say, like your body has a lifetime pattern that it follows. So you're probably right. I might retain a little bit, but I don't see myself blowing up. I remember when I went to Japan, I did retain a lot of water, but I was fuck. That's before I was bodybuilding, and I drank about fucking 14 of those little bottles of wine on the plane, and I can't sleep in transit, so there was no sleep. I was trying to get drunk to fall asleep. It didn't work. By the time I got to Japan, I looked fucking hilarious. My head was round, but that literally cleared in 24 hours on its own, and all I was doing was just snowboarding and drinking and eating and like not even caring, and it still cleared quick. So yeah, I might get a little bit, but yeah, not concerned.
How long's the flight?
Yeah, yeah. How long?
I'm not. I can't remember, like, because I go from here to Dubai.
Oh, you
Dubai
Straight,
how long
layover is about
for?
3 hours, and then I think that's only about. I don't think that's a big one from here to Dubai. I don't think that's big, but then I think Dubai to Bucharest is the big part. I'm not sure, but that's about 21 hours of sort of transit. But then I've got about 3 hours in Bucharest before my little flight to then Cluj, which is only an hour in the end. So in the end, by the time you leave home here, go to Brisbane, and then I'm in my place in Cluj, it's probably going to be about near on 30 hours.
Yeah, that's long.
It's a monster, but on the way home, it won't be an issue because I'm gonna stop in Dubai for 3 nights. So I only got to do half of it, and then I get three days, 3 nights off, and then just do the last little bit here. So actually, that's going to be the nice way to do it, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, so you're traveling with what, like a Logan and all those guys, or just by yourself, or what are you doing?
I'm going by myself. They just booked their flights and everything last weekend, and they're going to go a day before me. Like they just sort of decided, I think, like you were saying, like just in potential water issues and just feeling relaxed. I think Logan's a little bit different. Like not stresses, but I think he wants all his ducks in a row, and travel can sort of throw that a bit.
Oh. Mm.
So I think they sort of decided maybe a day earlier go, and then when they land in Bucharest, instead of doing that 3-hour, 3.5-hour layover and then the last flight to Cluj, they're going to stay in Bucharest overnight, just in case like the flight's delayed by an hour. And again, it upsets that timetable. So they're going to stay overnight in Bucharest in some just cheap accommodation, and then take the first flight to Cluj in the morning. So they're going to get there the same day as me, but half a day earlier.
Yeah, okay, yeah, nice.
You definitely want to make sure all your water's dropped before any type of carb up.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, let's say we get there Tuesday. He's competing Sunday. His carb up's probably not going to start till
2 days.
Maybe Thursday night or something like that. Who knows? I mean, him and Dean will sort that. For me, we know that 2 days. Like, so if I'm competing Saturday, we won't start my carb up till Thursday afternoon. We'll do Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday morning is a big breakfast, and then I pretty much fast after that up until stage. But we'll have a closer look at the scheduling and stuff when we get there, and decide sort of when I start the carb up and how lean I can get. Like, we might have to change that protocol. Like, we'll see.
So I remember what you guys were saying on the Aussie Amateur podcast. I think it was, you don't actually need as many carbs as you think. Like, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm having like 1,500 carbs. Like three, even 2 days, maybe 3 days, like 400 to 500 carbs is heaps.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Usually in that afternoon, so Thursday afternoon, I do around about 250. On the whole day, so Friday will be about 350. And then the morning of the show, like that big brekkie's probably got about 100 to 150 in it, and then that's it. Because I'm not at that stage. You're not walking. You're not doing anything but some posing. So the carbs are just sort of laying dormant. And I'm lucky that when I'm flat, I don't look flat. That the appearance is not much. Isn't really any difference, except for when I'm full, I'm just a tiny bit bigger, but with tiny little bit less detail. So it doesn't really affect me. Like, some people physically need food in them because they look like half the person. For me, I'm a minuscule bigger, but like then I say I lose a minuscule more detail. So you're kind of treading a line. I actually look a little bit better, sort of only half full, and then a big pump up. Bring all the carbs that are out sitting down deep, and it seems to give me my best look.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people do is they think they need heaps of carbs, and they don't drink any water. And they're like, I need more carbs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got to keep your water going in.
You need water.
I'll still drink 7 liters the day before the show, all the way up until bed. I drink all till normal, because again, like, even now, full of salt, full of food, full of everything, I'll still wake up bone dry in the morning. So
that's what
I'll do that. And then just the day of the show, I'll normally it's about sort of 200 to 300 mils with brekkie.
Yeah.
And then I just sort of sip along just to make sure that I keep going to the loo, having a wee. But yeah, that's it. It just sort of slows down for that last sort of 5-6 hours before you're on stage. You're just sort of sipping just little bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah, I normally do I drink the same amount the day before as I have been, but I cut it short. I cut it at mil 5 instead of mil 6.
Yeah.
To a nice pool, and then on the day it's normally like around 100, 150 mils of each meal.
Yeah. Yeah. I know a lot of people that do that. They still drink the same amount, but yeah, just finish it earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. What about because you'll be, going there like pretty much like a week earlier. What do you? I don't know if you want to talk about this, but what do you do? So I've always wanted this. I've never competed extensively overseas or at a big show overseas. What do you do about the things that you need? So like any orals or like what do you plan on doing that? If you don't want to talk about it.
Growth hormone for me stops about 5-6 days before the show, so that's fine. We'll stop that and then drive to the airport. Pretty much my hormones will do the same thing. I leave on Monday lunch, so I'll take a shot of everything Monday morning. And then it's just orals. And yeah, you've just sort of got to get them there.
Yeah. So
Orals are easy. You just put them in a multivitamin container.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
Yeah, it's like
even
we've
nationals,
got that sorted. So we're just got some orals again. But then I've got prescription for stuff like the moduretics. I've got her on script, everything. So there's a few things like that we just literally don't have to worry about. So it'd just be
food. Like I get stressed over like food, like what because like I don't really travel too much, especially overseas. Even coming to Queensland, I'm like, what the fuck do I do with food? Like I'm allowed to do this, I do that, I've got the water. Like
I mean, luckily Alex Connors just competed over there. When was he over Romania? Maybe a little bit less than 12 months ago when he did those classic shows.
Oh yeah,
Europe,
I remember that.
Romania was one of them. And he said straight up, he goes, everything's just normal. You need your chicken, rice, bananas, honey, avocado, whatever. It's all just there as normal in the supermarkets. He goes, there's nothing. The only thing he's like, just fly over some rice cakes and the brand of rice flour you like, just in case, like you go there and like maybe your rice cake's all salted up and you weren't really accounting for it or whatever it may be. But he goes, apart from that, all your groceries, everything's completely normal. So that helped us just relax and chill out about that.
Yeah, for sure. What about so your coach, who's coaching him? Sorry, what was the I missed out.
Logan's got Dean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
where is Dean? Dean's in Europe still, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, he's actually going to come and watch the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I follow his
so
stories.
That's really fucking cool. Yeah, he's familiar. I think he's been there. I think he went there when Alex competed in that. So it'll be cool to have him there, like for the supermarkets and just maybe to, like even though he's probably never been to Cluj, it'll just be familiar. You know what I mean? So it'll probably be nice having him around.
Yeah.
All those little things take the stress out.
100%, so even little things now, like I've already paid for all of like the pro tan, like I own everything's paid for, everything's done, everything's booked, sorted. So all those little things are just so when I get there, I can just drive to the supermarket and then to the accommodation. We got an Airbnb and cook up. I'm just gonna do chicken and rice. I mean, it's not my normal thing, but fuck it, like I'll just do chicken, rice, and bananas and honey and.
Aren't you a seafood guy?
I'll just be chilling on that.
Aren't you a seafood guy, Sam?
Sorry?
Aren't you like a seafood guy?
Yeah, I'll sort of chicken and rice. I'll only pretty much do for that carb load period. Like the rest of it is like lean red meats and seafood. I'll keep a lot of fruit in. So bananas, apples, berries. I'll keep a lot of fruit in. And once I've sort of hit my nutrient goals, and then I use the stocking fillers after that, the chicken and rice, like, the stuff with no nutrients, I'll make up the macro numbers with them. But so except for, again, just that carb load period, I just want a little fiber, whatever. And I just do it for that 2.5 days. But over there, so be it. I do enjoy eating chicken and rice. It's not a problem. But yeah.
So you're pretty on the money at the last show. What kind of what are you guys gonna? Is there anything gonna change in terms of kind of like, are you wanting to bring more fullness? Condition. Like what are you guys planning on in terms of that?
Um, Planning, I'm not sure what we're planning. Like we're going to make it up as we go. Like most of us, like with bodybuilding, it's all made up on the spot. But what I reckon is, I honestly think that the weight and the package that I brought to the state show would have been perfect if I didn't mess up my carb load. So I we had some cookies and stuff there as an emergency to get full. And then you know what you do backstage, you convince yourself you need a bit more fullness. And so we put them in, and just with the fats, I just didn't, they just added that tiniest little film of water, which wouldn't, it's not visible unless you've seen me in person, like standing here watching me pose. If you were to watch me pose 2 hours, 3 hours ago, and all the weird little splinters and all the strange details my body has, to then 3 hours later with a couple of cookies in there and all those splinters were gone. We're like, okay, so it was a kilo bigger than nationals. And I would have nearly had the same details as nationals, but with that little bit of extra size. I think the nationals, it was crazy detail, crazy definition, but still needed a bit more food in it just to stop things like the glutes looked a little bit soft. Not soft, just they look a bit hollow. So when you're moving and you're turning, they're wobbling a bit. They could have used a little bit more food. So I'm gonna try and bring the state show size, but with the smarter carb load that we used for nationals, and not convince myself I need more food or more dense shit.
And then what if you win your class over there, you still need to win overall for pro card, don't you?
No, top 3 in the overall. So you still got to win your class, but at Olympia's the top 3 in the overalls, which is typically super heavies and light heavies.
Not just the pro qualifier; it's actually the amateur Olympia, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it's typically your 3 biggest classes will turn pro.
Right. Okay. So what? So just going back.
Exciting? You getting excited, or?
Yeah, I am actually, and that's not me, man. I as a kid, I never got excited for Christmas. When I was fighting, I didn't get excited for fights or anything like that. I never got. They're just there, like you just do your training and eat your food, and then the event's just there. And every bodybuilding comp, same thing. I'm like, oh, I'll deal with it when it gets here. But then this one, I've had not many, but I've actually had a few moments where I'm like, holy fucking shit, like we're doing this. Like,
this is your first overseas one, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's only my third
time
overseas in my life.
You're literally going overseas, not for a holiday. It's like I'm there for business. Like I'm there to do some
damage. Yeah, it's very, very fucking cool. So yeah, I've actually had a few moments with this one where I have had excitement and stuff. So that's a new feeling for me, and it's cool. I enjoy it.
That's killer. Yeah, I like seeing Aussies like go overseas more because there's nothing here.
That's it. There's nothing here, and like we've had. Well, I mean, since the last Amateur Olympia in Vegas, like just season B last year, we had like 6 or 7 girls go over and have a crack, and they all got like top 3s and placed fucking awesome. We've had a lot of girls do it in the amateur ranks, but not many boys. So yeah, it's nice to see how we go and hold our own over there.
We just don't have the money here, like nobody gets sponsored. Like it's to fly from Australia to go anywhere, it's expensive, man. Because it's just so far to fly.
I mean, that's it. The big parts, the return flights is like 3.5. But outside of that, I mean, accommodation includes, we got like, like 6 or 7 days in this big, like 5-bedroom fucking villa with an outdoor kitchen into it. And to split it between the 4 of us was only like $500 each.
Oh, that's cheap.
It's nothing. The food is cheap. Everything's cheap once you're there. So it's the flights is the big one.
I'm doing a Europe trip next. Our Canada flights were 9.5.
Yeah.
Return, and the Airbnb was 3, and now we're going. We just bought tickets to the Olympia in America.
Yeah.
And that was 12 grand return.
Oh, fuck. Shit.
That was premium economy the whole way as well.
Yeah, shit.
Because I'm like, I need premium
I'm gonna
economy.
try and get to. I'm gonna try and put. The goal is obviously to win. That's all of our goals. Obviously, I'm happy no matter what happens. But ideally, if your little fantasy plays out in your head, I'll win, turn pro here. I'm gonna put a month into Texas around sort of November. And just basically go over and start networking in the States. I'll be full blown then off season, looking large. You'll be an actual pro, and just start networking. I got a friend over there. I can stay there for free, so accommodation's free.
Yeah, people don't understand in Australia. If you don't travel, you're never going to make it. Like us just going to Canada, the amount of people the network connections we made, and those, I was like, okay, we need to go to the Olympia now. Because like people we've talked to in Canada, they're going to be there, and like they're like, oh, you should come, you should come. I'm like, and like they just respect you if you build a physique.
Yeah, that's right.
They always respect you, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I'll be like, well, in Canada, they're like, you're going to grow between then. I'm like, man, I'll be like 15 kilos heavier next time I see you.
It's just a matter of networking, getting there.
Yeah.
Like I say, I don't need to pay for accommodation there or anything. I just online clients. I don't like a big online business. I like to keep it small, but it's enough for me to eat food and train while I'm there. And so as long as I have $1,000 a week saved in my account at home, if I can go for 4 weeks, if I've got $4,000 in my account, my house and that can pay for itself while I'm gone. Online clients can feed me while I'm there, so I don't need big money. And again, if it's 3.5 return, but spread over the 4 weeks, it's not a big cost, So I'm going to do that at the end of this year, and I'll do it again within the first half of next year, and then I'll be competing in the second half of next year. So I'll either do the tail end of my prep, last 4 to 6 weeks there in Texas, and then sort of compete out of that as the hub. That would be the most likely thing. If we don't turn pro now, I'll do the same thing. I'm going to go over and start networking anyway for those couple of trips, but then I'll compete season B here next year, and then go over to the Amateur Olympia, and again use Texas as a hub to finish the prep.
Yeah. If you go pro, you'll do 212, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
Because how tall are you?
Like 165 centimeters, like 5'4.5".
Yeah, so that's definitely 212.
Yeah, it's perfect for it. Like you don't look dwarfy, but you like by the time if you were to hit that 96 kilo limit at my height, you're just an absolute fucking monster. So I mean, me and Aaron are the same height. He's about a centimeter shorter, and he got on stage at the Olympia at 91, and we know how big that looks and how good. So it's a good gauge that if I can be anywhere north of 90, you're a competitive pro.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'll look forward to seeing you stand next to Sean Carita on stage.
Yeah, he's only 5'1". Fuck, and that's the thing. Like, you look at 5'1", I think he gets on stage about 77, 78, and he's fucking massive, bro.
That's ridiculous.
What's Derek Lunsford?
He's full as fuck.
Derek Lunsford and Hardy, are they like 5'6"?
5'7", 5'6". Yeah, they're not. I think Lunsford's about 5'6", and Hardy's about 5'7". Yeah, they're ginormous.
Yeah,
they're ridiculously
I'm 5'7".
large, man.
I want to try to get to 300 pounds.
Yeah, it's a big man.
I'm so sure.
I was 265 this morning.
Yeah, right. Fucking hell. No, I think this time I'll get on stage around the 80. I think I'm going to be about 1.5 to 2 kilos up from nationals, which is kind of strange. I've grown,
Where do you feel you need to bring up the most?
Chest is still probably the weakest point. Just chest like thickness. It just gets lost in a couple of poses, like my most muscular and stuff like that, because the chest is, it's not bad. It's just, my shoulders are so overwhelming, and it just my shoulders. I did a lot of boxing and kickboxing for many years, and then when I was younger, just poor lifting technique and used a lot of shoulders as well. So by the time you get older and you figure it out and you learn how to really use your chest for lifting, your shoulders got this head start of like fucking crazy. So
they take over.
probably,
I find
and
with a lot
lats.
of people, decline pressing, like just slight decline pressing, takes the shoulders out of it.
Yeah, well, it's everything's good. The last few years it has been good, and I've only for the last sort of 3 to 4 years, all I've done is like sort of 4 to 5 working sets of lateral raises a week. That's it on shoulders, so just to try and calm them down. And the chest is coming up. It's just they got such a big head start. So chest, and then like lats, more lower lats, more meat in the lat there. And again, they're showing good improvement, but they're probably my 2 biggest areas I've got to bring up.
Would you say that, because you said that you don't kind of go, like, you don't look flat when you are flat? Do you think that the chest, or like your chest, or like your lats have that appearance that they are flat, or do they also stay pretty like full looking? Or because like for example, like when I get flat per se, because my chest is also quite weak, so I'm kind of like in the same boat as you. I had poor technique when I was young. Like my side delt's quite large in comparison to like my chest. So when I do like a most muscular, they kind of get lost. But in a side chest, they kind of it doesn't portray the same, I guess you would say.
No, yeah, in a side chest, my chest looks all right.
Yeah,
it's in that most muscular, and maybe even a front lat spread. I hit my front lat spread like perfectly technique wise, but then it accidentally kind of shows off that the chest is a bit thin. So it's like wow, you're hitting it perfect, but oh geez, it's kind of also showing the fact that you just need a little bit more thickness.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think for any of us, whatever your weakest points are, whatever the part in your body that has the least muscle in it is going to be the first part to look smaller if there's any lack of fullness. So yeah, you're probably right. Like if I could balance it perfectly, which like I said, nationals was close. I could have, because I was legitimately peeled for nationals. And we didn't use, I didn't use any dumb tricks like cookies and stuff. I could have used more carb and filled up more, but yeah, we'll like Logan's. We're going to be staying in the same house this time. Hey,
you need the insulin with the. You need a little bit of insulin.
I'm not playing with that. Like, yeah, I've only ever used insulin a handful of times in my life. Same as a lot of people. All of a sudden, the fad word this last season was Anadrol, and I just reckon there was 100 people there using it.
Really?
That were only using it because they've heard of it, and they heard that that's what the big guys are doing now. And like, I don't know how you use Anadrol in a carb load. So I'm not going anywhere near it. I don't understand it. I've never had anyone who understands it truly explain why they use it in a peak week, what they're looking for to see if it's acceptable or not acceptable in a peak week, what they're looking for while it's in to see if they need more of it or less of it. I need to be broken down. If I don't understand it, I ain't playing it.
Yeah. I feel like
insulin for me, same thing.
The people that use the like, oh, I've got to have this to get big, they're the ones that aren't lean enough. And as soon as they try to get big, they look fat because their whole water, they just lose everything they had and they look 10 times worse because they weren't ready in the first place.
Look, and I saw it as well. I saw this season probably half a dozen guys, and look, they're all friends. It's like we're all friends in this industry, and the shame that I saw across all of them was they were in very, very good shape. They were in phenomenal shape. They did the work through their diet, but then along comes peak week, and they started hitting these crazy numbers, 800, 900, 1,000 grams of carbs, putting insulin in, and I watched over that 48 to 72 hours. They had thin skin like mine. They had quite a lot of detail going on, and there's a lot of. It looked pretty fucking wild to then getting on stage, big and full, but it looks like thick skin, and they were sweating and stuff. And so, yeah, I think again, you get a fad word like Anadrol and insulin and that, and I think there's 100% a place for them, but I don't know it, so I won't play with it.
I didn't use anything to that car. All I did was I just wrote Anavar. I dropped GH, like you said, a week 4, needles a week 4, and I just kept running Anavar and a little bit of T3 and Clen all the way. Just
Yeah, I
woke
left
up.
the T3 and Clen in, and I had Proviron and Halo in at the end. Yeah.
Was Halo legit? Did it kick? Did you get some aggression from it?
No, I'm very lucky. It definitely makes the fuse shorter, but I'm pretty even. Like, I'm not a big stress head and stuff anyway. Like, which is kind of weird because I'm an OCD motherfucker around the house. My house is clean and I've got to have things a certain way. But at the same token, like if things like would have happened at the airport, or if I was to lose my bag, or if I was to miss a flight, I'm like, fuck it, I'll just stay here for the night. I'll catch the next one tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like if there's stuff's out of my control, I don't really give a fuck either. So things like Halo and Tren and that, I don't really mess with me a lot. You know, if anything, I call Tren Truth Serum. Like that, I'm fucking hilarious on it. If there's something I got to tell you, I'll tell you like straight. And even I listened back to myself afterwards, going, "Fuck, you could have softened the blow on that a bit."
That's funny as. That's funny as.
It's just truth serum.
Truth serum.
But Halo, I remember watching one of my clients, maybe a season or 2 ago. He's motherfucker in traffic, fucking. He's an aggressive guy anyway, and I saw him with Halo in, and fucking hell,
I can imagine.
He was. Oh man, he was just walking around. He could walk around beautiful flowers, and that steam was coming out his ears. He was ready to fucking kill him. Like he was. He made me nervous to make it.
They get angry at people that are happy. Why are you so fucking happy? You know?
Oh fuck yeah! He like I said, he's a snooty guy anyway. He's funny. I love him, but when he was on Halo, fucking hell, man, he was intense.
That's funny. Jeez.
So then, obviously, going pro and all will determine your off season. You don't know any plan yet. You cross that bridge when you come.
I've literally got like I'm trying to play chess as much as possible here. Like no matter what happens, if I turn pro, if I get injured, if I don't turn pro, if I fuck it, I've got the next 30 moves planned out in any direction. So the similar pattern will follow. If I don't turn pro, I'm going to get over to Texas and start networking and doing all of that. Still do season B-ish next year, but then I'll look at the dates, whether I do the state show here and nationals here, or whether I just do state show here and then go to the States and do the amateur Olympia. I'm not sure. And then if I'm am pro, same thing, I'll grow and then do those end of year shows. Not really. I mean, maybe around this time, and who knows, you might be able to get an Olympia qualification. But my goal, like I was saying, this entire last preps for the first half of this year, I was quite open about it because I could just feel it in my body. I'm like, I'm going to grow. Like my body is in a stage now, for whatever reason, it really wants to fucking grow. If I give it one bit of food, it puts on size. If I give it one drop of drug that's, like combined total last prep was probably about 1.3 grams. Like, I don't do huge amounts. And I was just growing through prep as well. So I could tell. And then that little 4-week off season I had, like I walked off stage at nationals at like 84 and a half. 4 weeks later, I was lean, waking up fasted at 96. Like, it's just, I'm like, fuck, I knew it. And then we started, I'm like, fuck, well, let's do the Olympia. And I've been growing through this prep again. So I honestly believe that if I was to compete this time next year, I would be 90 or more in condition, not sacrificing trying to be bigger, but it's like, bro, you were leaner last time, you know what I mean? Like, I think I'll be legitimately in shape north of 90. So I think that after this season, regardless of what happens, I either compete as a pro and I'll be competitive, or I'll be so big I'll fucking finally win the pro card because it'll be undeniable.
Sure.
Yeah. Because 212 is what, 95 kilos roughly, 96.
Yeah, 96 point something. Yeah.
So, but we've got less than 20 seconds left of recording space because it's all still on the freebie. Still would upgrade that.
Short,
No,
sharp,
thank
and
you,
shiny is
man.
better anyway.
Sorry.
Perfect.
Short, sharp, and shiny is
I
good.
appreciate you guys. Honestly, I appreciate the exposure.